Ever wanted to add an analog video effect to something? Well, then let me introduce you to NTSC-RS. It's a free and open source software and plugin which lets you add characteristics from analog video sources to any kind of footage. And the great thing about it, apart from being free, is that unlike other effects, NTSC-RS is amazingly accurate at what it does, since they are emulating how NTSC transmission and VHS encoding actually work. So how can you actually use NTSC-RS? For one, they have a standalone software, an experimental web version, and a lot of plugin integrations for Premiere Pro, After Effects, and OpenFX hosts such as DaVinci Resolve plus Fusion, Natron, or even the most recent compositing and motion graphics newcomer, Autograph. Personally, I like the standalone version the most, as it is pretty easy to use and the increments in which sliders move feel the best to accurately configure the effect. Though I probably have used the DaVinci Resolve integration the most, as it is pretty convenient to just drag and drop the effect onto footage in your timeline. The only downside I've experienced here is that the sliders sometimes feel a bit too sensitive in Resolve. If you just want to give it a quick test, you can try the web version. The limitations of it are mostly affecting the encoding for exporting the results, so it's a great way to see if you like it before installing anything. Well, no matter where you use the effect, you will get the same amount of adjustments you can make. So let's quickly go over the most important adjustments and sliders. As you might notice, the effect pretty much consists out of different modules, which, using their toggles, you can also completely disable. The Composite Signal Noise module lets you add and configure a type of noise that is the result of interference in the video signal. First thing I always adjust when adding the effect is the snow, which adds those random line artifacts to your image. And apart from controlling the amount of snow, you should also look into adjusting the snow anisotropy, which essentially defines whether you want a lot of tiny snow artifacts or fewer but larger ones. And you can also change the look and especially the sharpness of the snow by using different options from the dropdown of the chroma demodulation filter. Right beneath the snow settings, you will also find the Luma Smear slider, which controls that classic horizontal blur from analog video. And a very classic element of VHS effects are those artifacts at the bottom. You can control these by adjusting the head switching, which controls the displacement at the very bottom, and by adjusting the tracking noise, where you can configure the noise elements at the very bottom. If you ever saw text elements on analog videos, you might have noticed those weird artifacts on the edges of the text. In NTSC-RS, you can configure these using the ringing module. Of course, these artifacts aren't exclusive to text, but at lower intensities, they just are especially noticeable on text elements. And of course, you can add and configure even more noise by using the Luma and Chroma noise modules. Essentially, the Luma noise is a grayscale noise, while the Chroma noise is saturated noise. Then there also is a dedicated VHS emulation module where you can choose between different kinds of VHS tapes from this dropdown, configure the classic sharpening effect from VHS tapes, and also adjust the settings in the Edge Wave module, which controls displacement effects, which, as far as I know, are caused by tape wrinkles. And at the very bottom, you can also adjust the global scale of the effect. Right at the bottom is a very important toggle in my opinion, which is called Scale with Video Size. This toggle decides whether the effect should be applied like a video of your footage's resolution is being fed through an analog video signal, or whether it should be applied on your footage like it would be in the traditional resolution for an analog video signal. Exclusively to the standalone versions, you can also scale your input footage to that resolution at the very top. In the plugin versions, you would have that through setting the resolution in the project settings of your chosen software. In NTSC-RS, you can also manage presets. those are saved as a .json file and can be used across different integrations, meaning you can create presets in the standalone version and then use them for the plugin version, and vice versa. Though in the standalone version you have this nice list of presets you can click through, where in the plugin version you have to use the load preset button and then choose the file. I've also created 15 presets which you can download from our website for free. To use them, you just have to put them in a folder to which you navigate in the plugin version. For the standalone version, just press the Open Folder button in the Presets Manager and drop all the .json files there. After hitting Reload, they should already appear in the list. I also have a NTSC-RS inspired effect for Blender in my free compositing pack MP-Comp, alongside 140 other effects, including many retro effects. The NTSC-RS inspired effect is called MP_NTSC. If that sounds interesting to you, I have the link to the pack in the description. Again, it is free to download, though support is always appreciated. Well, that was everything from my end. Like and hype the video if you want to, and submarine to my channel. Have a wonderful day. Bye.